In this video, we'll introduce you to a cover letter format that has been proven effective in getting candidates a first-round interview. It's called the T format, and we'll show you what it looks like later in the video, and you'll also be able to download a template using the links in the description. But before we jump right into the cover letter, we'll answer the question of, are cover letters even relevant anymore? And we'll also give you some ways on how you can write your cover letter so that it gets read in the first place. Let's get into it. Let's start off by addressing the big question of, are cover letters even necessary anymore? This is one of those topics in which there is no agreed upon answer within the hiring community. Yet there are some points to consider. Since everyone wants to work at a large company, odds are they may not even read your cover letter. Yet, if you apply at a smaller company or mid-sized company, cover letters tend to carry more weight because these types of companies have a hard time finding people. They may experience a lot of turnover, so they really want to make sure they hire quality candidates. Furthermore, the people who already work there really impact how the company performs. So they want to make sure they are hiring a person who really wants to be there and not just in it for the paycheck. Best practice is to have a cover letter in the first place, regardless of where you're applying. It can't hurt and you can't go wrong. Moving on, one thing is certain. A good cover letter might get you an interview, but a bad one will immediately disqualify you. So, as obvious as it sounds, from the get-go, that means absolutely no spelling or grammar mistakes. The prevailing thought is if you mess up a document as important as your cover letter, how bad are you going to mess things up when you get here? Going one level deeper, let's talk about what really counts. If we're honest, most cover letters are boring, predictable, and often recycled, and you can't tell the difference between them. Furthermore, if you submit a generic cover letter, you might run the risk of being perceived as someone who is applying just for the sake of applying, and that won't work out well for you. So to increase your chance of getting an interview, you want to look at this process from the hiring manager's point of view and address the two most predominant questions they have when reading cover letters, which are you a good candidate and what's in it for the company? All while addressing your biggest concern, which is how do you stand out in a sea of homogeneous cover letters? You can solve all these issues by changing the way you think, and what that means is you want to think like a marketer. Why? Because a marketer has the ability to grab a person's attention, keep them engaged while promoting a product or service that solves a problem. So let's apply that mindset to our cover letter. You want to lead off your opening paragraph by making a connection with the reader. This is often called the hook or captivating angle. The opening paragraph is also a good time to tell them why you're a good candidate. If you pull this off, they'll keep reading and want to learn more about you. Let's see an example. In this case, we're applying for a job as an e-learning developer. So your typical cover letter might read something like this. I'm writing to express interest in the job of e-learning developer. Please find the enclosed resume which matches your job qualifications. I'm a highly motivated team player with a robust, well-developed background in e-learning. For the past 5 years, I have... that's a tough one. Now, let's revisit this cover letter, but this time we're going to apply that new mindset of thinking like a marketer. So our new cover letter can read like this. Some say that all e-learning is the same, but after studying your product suite, what really stands out is the way you design your courses with simplicity, making it easy to retain information, all blended with a touch of humor. This is why your company is so appealing to me, because it aligns with my style of designing e-learning courses using popular authoring tools like Articulate and Camtasia, all while adhering to the best course design practices. If we break this down by comparing it to the typical cover letter, we did 3 things that most candidates don't. First, you can see we led off with the hook, which was, some say all e-learning is the same, which is a very common perception in the e-learning world. Second, we made a connection by stating what stands out to us, because every company wants to be recognized for a unique angle they have. We're also showing that we've done research into the company and expressed true interest in their products. Third, we introduced why we're a good candidate by giving a quick overview of our background. So now the hiring manager is hooked and wants to know more about us because we've answered one of their main questions, which is, why are you a good candidate? Now, let's answer the next big question the hiring manager has, which is what's in it for the company. We can rephrase that to say, what do they get if they hire you? To answer that question, we can leverage the T format portion of our cover letter. The T format stands for three things: targeted, table, and the format or shape of the table, because it uses two columns which forms the letter T. In a nutshell, the T format is a very direct, compact, and convenient way for you to display what they are looking for with what you have to offer. You can make the case that it's a very bold, in-your-face approach. Let's take a look at how it works. Right here is the table, obviously. Starting with the left-hand side of the table, this column lists out specific line items from the job posting. It's a literal copy and paste. If we focus on the right column, this column explains or describes what you have done that meets that requirement. You can practically line them up. Think of it this way. You want someone who's done this? I've done that. You want someone who's done this? I've done that. The key here is not to overdo things. Make sure to not list any more than 3 or 4 lines from the job posting, so make sure you copy and paste the most important ones. When you describe your experience, make sure to get as granular as possible and not rehash your resume. Quantify things as best you can. Also, make sure to include the relevant skills. So right there is your T. It's a very good way to compare what you offer to what the company is looking for. You can also make the case the T is very visually appealing and eye-catching. It can be an effective way to highlight your strengths in what you bring to the table. Plus, it allows you to showcase specific examples from your background to the job requirements. So right there is your T. Let's take a moment to talk about the table appearance. You may not like showing the entire grid of the table, since it can be tough on some folks' eyes, so you can always modify the look of the table by selecting it, then playing around with the border formats, shades, lines, etc. to create an appearance like this, or possibly something like this. All right, let's go one step further and say you're not a fan of the T by having a table shown in your cover letter, yet you still like the overall concept it conveys, which is showing the job requirements and aligning it to what's in your background. In that case, you can use the modified T, which just takes the information from the columns and lists them in a comparison by row format. Put another way, and for lack of a better term, you tip the table on its side. This format might be useful when submitting through an ATS system, or you want to give someone a more traditional looking cover letter. Now that we have the main topics covered, let's start to wind things down by talking about the opening salutation and closing paragraphs of your cover letter. With respect to the salutation, you want to customize it as best you can. For example, if you know the person's name, it's a no-brainer. Just go with "Dear person's name" or "Hi person's name." That works just fine. If the person's name is unknown, perhaps you can find it via the company's LinkedIn page, or if you don't have any options, go with "Dear company name" or "Dear company name team," since it's customized and it fits. No matter what you do, do not use "To whom it may concern" or "Dear hiring manager." These terms are generic, dated, and come off as lazy, so don't even bother. Next, your closing paragraph. Here's where you can be a little generic, yet you want to make sure you thank them for their time and also reiterate your interest in the job. Something to the effect of, "I would welcome the opportunity to interview in order to learn more about the role, your goals, and how my skills can be a valued resource on your team. You can reach me at this phone number or this email. Thank you for your time and consideration." A closing paragraph like that will work just fine. If you want to download these cover letters, there is a link to the samples and templates below. You can get access to the T cover letter and the non-T cover letter along with a blank template that you can use however you wish. Lest we forget our cheap plug, by chance you are in the job market and are looking for a comprehensive resource that walks you through the entire job search process and will alleviate a lot of the tension you have when looking for a job, make sure to check out the links below. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next one.